Here's what's coming up on your horizon. Well, over the last 20 years, the emphasis in most schools is to round up every warm body and send it off to college, then off to a cubicle to become a knowledge worker. But as this new information economy has evolved, increasingly we are finding we need people who can do things like build our homes, pave our roads, and manufacture the machinery that does it all. Today, our focus is on two industries that are often overlooked, yet we're completely dependent upon: manufacturing and construction. Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in career tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Rob McClendon.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, for anyone who feels ill-suited to sit in an office all day, or even more likely a cubicle, today our focus is on an alternative. Two of them to be exact: construction and manufacturing. Two industries that have much in common. To begin with, both industries pay above average wages, yet both struggle finding the workforce they need, often suffering from a simple misconception that working with your hands means somehow not working with your mind. And that cannot be further from the truth. We begin today with an industry that is literally all around us and searching for skilled workers. And our Austin Moore introduces us to one of them.
A lot has happened to Kelsey Hunter since she was a student at Gordon Cooper Technology Center.
I'm actually a carpenter, cross-trained in plumbing. So I'm a framer, and then I do all the plumbing work.
As a member of Skills USA, Hunter and her teammates were then competing to show their mastery of all aspects of the construction trades and holding their heads high as an all-female team.
Yeah, just make it flat against the board.
Today, Kelsey's enthusiasm for the construction industry has only grown.
People don't realize that there's so much that goes on before a project even mobilizes to the job site.
Kelsey is a project engineer for Nabholz Construction. We caught up with her, along with project executive Paul Boren and project manager Jonathan Lowry, at the site of a new Oklahoma City high school.
On a project this size, we have a lot of subcontractors that need to be coordinated with, they need to be managed. And for every subcontractor, there's a lot of work that has to be accomplished prior to them even stepping foot on the job. Making sure that when they show up on the job site, that they have the appropriate materials and manpower to achieve the activities they need to achieve.
Putting the budget together, putting the estimate together, working with the owner to make sure that we're meeting their expectations, the front-end preliminary schedules.
Part in the office and part in the field. This is detail work often unappreciated by the end users of the building, yet something they would certainly notice if it were not done right.
If things are delivered to the job site that didn't get approved and that aren't in the contract documents, that's my responsibility. I'm supposed to make sure that everything conforms to the contract documents because it's written in the spec and in the drawings for a reason.
As a project engineer, Kelsey is in training to become a project manager as she builds on her experience.
Well, in today's market, what we're finding is there's huge competition in the market for qualified people in construction. Not just the people in the field, but also people in the office that manage the projects.
That shortage of experienced professionals is leaving the door open for newcomers with the right training.
Anybody who comes into this industry at a young age is going to struggle with not having experience. And it's just the fact that they haven't been out in the field, they haven't seen the products being installed and how they're installed. And what Career Tech and Skills USA offer the students is some early experience in the construction process.
It gives them a more well-rounded view of construction. It's not just paperwork at that point. They understand what's involved, the physical portion of it.
The impact of the Teamworks competition was very vital to how I operate my position today, because I work with a team, and basically we sat in front of an owner and we told them, how are we going to build this thing in 16 hours? And how are you going to do it safely? How are you going to do it according to the drawings? How are you going to do it? And those are real questions that owners in commercial construction want to know.
Something Kelsey knows firsthand now that she's laying the foundation of her own career.
So what other type of opportunities does the construction industry offer? Well, my first guest has that answer and much more when we return.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
Well, Oklahoma's construction industry does more than just build our roads, offices, and homes. It builds our economy, and no one knows that more than our first guest today, Doug Tapp with the Association of General Contractors of Oklahoma. Well, first of all, what does your group do, Doug?
We are one of 95 chapters of the AGC nationally. We have 3 chapters in Oklahoma, and what our chapter, the building chapter, does is we represent about 240 commercial contracting, general contractors, construction managers, specialty contractors, service providers, suppliers, etc., all through the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, now, we just met this young lady that's very excited about being in the industry. How is the industry doing as a whole?
Oklahoma's industry is good. We haven't seen any downturn from the discounted crude oil prices. Our contractors, pretty much to a man or a woman, are looking for skilled people like the young lady that you interviewed. We've got great career opportunities. They can be at a company for as long as they want to, as long as they've got the skill set and the desire to do so.
Mm-hmm. How does someone get a job in construction?
Obviously, one method for them to utilize is going through, the Tech Center's programs. We sponsor the NCCER programs throughout that represent masonry, carpentry, plumbing, heat and air, electrical, that instructors utilize to train the young men and young women. And through our relationship with those instructors, they know that if that young man or young lady wants to go into commercial contracting, they'll point him to the AGC for information on our contractors. Currently, we're also in the process of building a website housed under our chapter that will promote those careers, and also, hopefully here in a couple of months, also be a job posting board that our contractors can utilize so that those young potential commercial contractors can look at and say, hey, there's some jobs in carpentry, there's some jobs in masonry, and pursue those accordingly.
Mm-hmm. So not only help educate, but also to help people find employees. That's great. October is construction month here in Oklahoma. In fact, I just had this proclamation given to me, and it's from the governor. So anything special that you guys are going to do during the month of October?
We hope to at least roll out the boilerplate of that website. We've been talking to our members about getting more involved with talking to and thanking their legislators, thanking the governor. Obviously, we partner up with the tech centers quite often, but we want to, focus on that during the month of October. We have positions that are vice presidents, senior project managers, but then we've got companies that are looking for, somebody that's going to do heat and air, or somebody that's going to do electrical or masonry or dirt work. Somebody that might, grew up playing with their Tonka toys, but now want to take it on a grander scale and play around with a D9 dozer. We've got all kinds of opportunities for a young man or young woman that's interested in getting in the business. And they can be there, like I said, for as long as they'd like. They're fantastic careers. They're great companies. Typically, our companies have really good benefits, good pay scale.
Yeah, they pay well above the state average.
Yes, they do. And they treat their employees very well.
Are there certain challenges that you see on the horizon for you?
Yes. AGC of America did a study a couple of years ago that asked, what our companies are challenged with currently, and 86% responded that workforce shortage is their #1 concern. We're seeing it in Oklahoma. We've got subcontracting specialty contractors that need workers. They're either not bidding our general contractors because they're so full of work they can't man another job, or our general contractors are looking for superintendents, project managers, estimators, etc. So I think it's here, and I think through the help with the Career Tech system, the help with the proclamation, those are little pieces that can help solve that problem in the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully the work that is underway right now will certainly solve that. Doug, thank you so much. Now, we do have links to the videos we've talked about, as well as some construction stories we've done in the past, streaming on our website at okhorizon.com.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon. Made in America and proud of it. But first, a fitting tribute.
Well, if you're a regular viewer of this show, you may recognize Larry Mocha. For over 25 years, Larry was a tireless advocate and enthusiastic supporter of small business owners in the state of Oklahoma, and absolutely loved his chosen field of manufacturing.
Manufacturing is an industry that creates wealth in and of itself. I think for every dollar spent on manufacturing or related industries, another $1.50 is generated as a result. Well, that's just by manufacturing by itself. When you export, like if we export out of Oklahoma, then what we're doing, we're growing the pie. Manufacturers help grow the pie. When you export stuff out of Oklahoma, you're bringing those dollars into Oklahoma, so you're helping to grow that pie. So most of our stuff is done outside of Oklahoma. All the work's done here. All the money comes back here, but our products are shipped all over the United States.
In addition to being CEO of the company his father started a quarter a century ago, Larry was also the co-founder of OK to Grow, a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving high school completion rates, promoting entrepreneurism among youth, and developing manufacturing's workforce pipeline. Now, Larry passed away this summer, but leaves a legacy of building both products and people in his lifetime. Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV, or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes. Well, manufacturing accounts for 1 in 6 private sector jobs in this country and makes up about 10% of Oklahoma's gross state product, employing people all across Oklahoma. Joining me now in studio is David Rowland, the president and CEO of Oklahoma's Manufacturers Alliance. Well, let's start off with just the state of manufacturing here in the state.
Well, thank you, Rob. Yep. Manufacturing in the state is a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest with you. There's about 140,000 people employed in the state, serving 4 main sectors, and the largest sector is energy, gas and oil primarily. And right now, I think everyone knows the ploy to that. The oil fields are down, and the gas side is doing a little better, but still off. So anyone that's solely manufacturing for those sectors is having a pretty challenging time right now.
Yeah, and while energy may well be a cyclical industry, there are other sectors of our economy that are doing quite well.
Absolutely. You know, the airlines are really enjoying, some record profits and so forth. And so consequently, one of our major industries here in the state is aerospace. And the aerospace industry is doing great. Many manufacturers have seen maybe a 10 or 15% uptick over last year in their business, and are out actually trying to hire qualified individuals. So that's a real exciting piece of what's going on right now. And some of the stable areas are infrastructure, transportation, or supporters here in the state.
Mm-hmm. Now, we just celebrated National Manufacturing Weekend, National Manufacturing Day. What are some of the goals here in the state coming out of that?
Well, obviously manufacturing day is to highlight what a career in manufacturing can do for someone and make parents, students, and educators more aware of that as a career. So the goal is to raise awareness of what manufacturing does. For instance, most people don't know that manufacturing sector jobs pay 20% more than other sectors on average. For instance, a base salary in manufacturing is $60,000. And in addition to that, most manufacturers pay benefits. So that's a different piece. of information than we probably saw 15, 20 years ago throughout the United States. So the idea is to make people aware that it's no longer a dark, dirty type of industry where people come home hurt, etc. No, it's a very modern, it's a very exciting, advanced technology type of career. People are running robots, they're running CNC machines, they're basically involved in laboratory and art research and development. And it's not all on the shop floor. People have to remember that there's jobs in accounting, there's jobs in purchasing, there's jobs in marketing, those types of things that support manufacturers. So we're trying to make sure that people understand that manufacturing is a career that they can be proud of and that they can make a very good living with and support a family and their goals.
How important is the skills training that the Career Tech centers around the state provide?
Oh, we couldn't do it. Manufacturing couldn't do it without it. Manufacturing really depends on a lot of STEM training from that aspect and a lot of certifications, welders, machinists, etc. in there. And the Career Tech is set up so well to do that, and we have the same goals. We both work as an outreach. One of the things that I think is really nice is our organization deals specifically with manufacturers, and anytime we see an educational or a training need, first place we come back to is the Career Tech. From that, we bring them in, get them involved, and hopefully it's as much as a one-stop shop as we can when we bring Career Tech in.
Now, I know you're about to celebrate your one-year anniversary as the president and CEO of the Manufacturers Alliance. What do you see the future being like in that industry and for your group?
Well, the industry, I think it's going to be a situation where manufacturing has to basically adopt new technologies and innovations we've talked about. And it's going to be a tough go for about the next 5 or 10 years on workforce development, as we've talked about. So for the industry, manufacturers are going to have to stay involved with the schools, the parents, and educating people about manufacturing in order to build those careers and get people interested and back into manufacturing. But also the technology piece, we've talked about that. We're going to have to make sure that we're on the front end of that, we're using technology effective, and that we're able to apply it not only to today's world, but get our manufacturers looking at 5 years strategic planning type of goals from that. If we're not planning for the next 5 years when our manufacturing base, we're going to be left behind.
So how important is just the simple but fundamental thing of changing the mindset about manufacturing?
Well, it's a simple thing to talk about, and it's a huge need. It's a hard thing to do from there. A recent survey by National Association of Manufacturers came back and said that people wanted manufacturing as their #1 economic driver in their communities. However, when you ask that same question, would you want your child or your brother or sister to work in manufacturing, it ranked 5th or 6th, depending on which survey. So there's a big gap when you look at this. So there's a lot to be done when you look at those types of numbers. And with the shortage of employees that are projected in the next 10 years, some projections are saying nationally that with the retirement of the baby boomers and so forth, manufacturing will be short almost 2.5 million jobs. We won't have qualified people to meet those needs. Now, looking at Oklahoma, you can translate that down, and that's somewhere in the range of 25,000 to 30,000 jobs that will go unfilled. And when you think about a $60,000 plus base job plus benefits, you know, that's a great career opportunity for a lot of people. So we've got to get the message out. We've got to be able to bring people in and understand what manufacturing careers can do, etc.
All right. Well, Dave, I certainly appreciate you coming by.
Well, thank you.
Now, Dave Rowland is the president and CEO of Oklahoma's Manufacturing Alliance. You can keep up with us throughout the week. Just head to okhorizon.com, where you can see more of any of our stories, read our reporters' behind-the-scenes blogs, see what others are saying about us on Twitter, and face the facts with our regular updates. So reach out and touch us anywhere and anytime. Well, manufacturing products for the federal government, while lucrative, can be complicated. That's why a group called OBAN helps Oklahoma companies cut through the red tape. Here's our Courtney May.
The Oklahoma Bid Assistance Network provides marketing and technical assistance to Oklahoma businesses interested in selling products and services to federal, state, local, and tribal governments. The primary purpose of OBAN is to create jobs and expand the economy in Oklahoma by providing specific valuable resources to Oklahoma businesses. From plumbing to manufacturing, CareerTech's Oklahoma Bid Assistant Network is helping a variety of Oklahoma businesses grow.
First of all, nobody has the reach into local business that CareerTech does. With 29 districts across the state, they all know their local businesses, and we could not possibly reach into the local business community with any other method.
OBAN helps thousands of businesses across the state receive government contracting, including 10-year client Ed Glukowski with Southwest Oklahoma Plumbing. Thanks to OBAN, Glukowski works for schools, hospitals, and fairgrounds all across Southwest Oklahoma.
I couldn't have began my company and got it to where it is today without OBAN, Red River, Dana Harwell and Pam up front. I mean, it's like having my own extra company here. Not again, this one's not.
Southwest Oklahoma Plumbing focuses on local and state government jobs, working closely with Bid Assistant Coordinator Dana Harwell at Red River Technology Center. Glukowski says OBAN and the services it provides has saved his company thousands of dollars, specifically the plan room at Red River Technology Center, a resource designed for OBAN, allowing Glukowski to print the blueprints he needs before bidding on a job.
I get the docs here from OBAN Network, but once I get the docs here, then I go to my office and I bid at my office and get the thing turned out.
As Bid Assistance Coordinator, Harwell works with businesses of all kinds and sizes.
The most recent contracts that's been really exciting is a manufacturing company that I've been working with. They started with me 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, from the ground up. I've helped them get registered, I've helped them with marketing, I've helped them look at bids, I've helped them with plans and specs. And recently they had received a large dollar contract.
Across town, Duncan Machine Products started in a 227 square foot shop in Terry and Chris Billings' backyard. Yet with work continuously coming, thanks to government contracting, the company has upsized 4 times and is now in a 27,000 square foot facility.
It's helped our employees have a little bit of security.
Yeah, definitely.
There's that, we have some diversification.
We have been fortunate enough to never have to lay off an employee due to the fact that we didn't have work.
Our OBAN coordinator has helped us in amazing ways.
Guidance in general.
Guidance,
and feeling like you have somebody in your corner.
Yeah. That knows something.
Yes.
She is so knowledgeable on almost everything.
OBAN is successfully servicing clients with 16 offices located at 15 technology centers across Oklahoma.
It just really helps to be able to say you're part of the local tech center. You're able to open doors there because they know their local tech center. It's a major employer in their area. They know that you come from somebody who offers quality help.
The Oklahoma Department of Career Tech started OBAN in 1986 in an effort to keep local government contracting dollars in the state.
All right, thank you so much, Courtney. Now, if you'd like to learn more about contracting with the federal government, I do have a conversation with the regional administrator for the Small Business Administration streaming on our website, and John Shiraka may answer all your questions. Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, I sit down with country music icon and Oklahoman Roy Clark.
When you did something, you had to live with it. There was no stop and take.
Oh, really?
We never rehearsed. because then if they found out there was a stop button, then we'd be stopping all day long, stopping the tape.
And we'll also meet the man behind the music on Oklahoma's show over the heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, that is going to wrap us up for today, but you could see more of any of our stories on our website at okhorizon.com. You can follow us throughout the week on Twitter at OKHorizonTV, or you can just become a Horizon fan on Facebook. I'm Rob McClendon. Thanks for including us in your day. Hope to see you back here next week.
Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education and the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. Thank you for watching Oklahoma Horizon.